This is Johnny Wrestling or Johnny Takeover, as my shirt says. And listen, I want you to listen. Like, we're involved right now. It's crazy. It's loud. It's hectic. We're in New York City. But I want you to listen to the No Holds Barred Network.
Enough is enough. They're always taking their sides, careless and nine, plus and minus their divide.
Hey guys, welcome back to the No Holds Barred Network with another episode of Under the Ropes. I'm your host as always, the EVP of Giggles, the Heartbreak Chick, the Queen of the Indies. And today's special guest, I mean, I don't even know. Are you really Frankie Pickard or like, are you Star Trek? Like, I don't even know how to introduce you right now. Like, are you? Well, I guess I guess you really are like, you know, the guy with the H2O hybrid championship belt.
Exactly.
I love it. I love it
right now.
I don't know, like the smoking Frankie Pickard with the H2O hybrid belt, you know, aka Star Trek, and I don't know. Are you like even home? Are you like floating in your thing?
Oh no, man! I'm up here as about to teach Rocket some things.
Oh.
Because in case you haven't heard, like me and Rocket are the new tag team. We call ourselves Space Cowboys.
Oh, okay. I love
So
it.
he's like alien of H2O.
Oh,
And-
yes, I see. Yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it so much. So, guys, welcome if you're new to the channel. Here I host Under the Ropes, where I interview everything in independent wrestling, whether it's promoters, wrestlers, referees, behind the scenes, anything with independent wrestling. If it's out there, I want to know everything about it for you guys as well. And if you're returning there, if you got questions for Frankie, drop them in the chat, please, and then I'm sure he'll be glad to answer your questions. So Frankie, are you ready to go? I love the belt. I have to say, it's such a beautiful belt.
Oh,
And,
thank you.
You know, I really like it. It was funny when I was doing this thumbnail layout, and I was actually one of my friends. I'm like, that's a beautiful belt. Somebody said to me, I'm like, yeah, right? Like, I like it. I like it. I like it so much. So, all right. So you ready for this interview?
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, let's jump a little into the basics. How did you get into professional wrestling?
Oh man, funniest thing is I always grew up watching wrestling. So me and my friend Steve, we was always talking about, man, let's become wrestlers. So at the time, I didn't know anything about the indies. I just knew like WWF at the time and WCW. I knew like ECW, but it was like, I was like, oh, that's another wrestling brand is on TV. That's pretty cool. So we was always talking about wrestling. Was in school, and everybody we used to call me The Rock because that was my idol. To come in there and just act like The Rock. So we was up there, was going to go. My friend, he went a different route. He became a security guard. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to wait for him. I'm just going to do it myself. So I was looking at all different types of schools, wrestling schools. And then I found out about CZW, Combat Zone Wrestling. So I was like, let me try this out. And I emailed and they got a phone call. And at the time, well, it was DJ Hyde, of course. But DJ Hyde was like, oh, come in and do a tryout. So I was all hyped. I was like, yeah, I get a chance to come in there, man. I want to see the ring. I'm all jelly. I was all jelly, and I came in there, and the tryout wasn't hyped out to be. It was crucial.
Oh wow.
Next day, I didn't even feel my legs. I thought I was floating. I thought I was Genie from Aladdin. There. But after that, I passed, and then I came back. My trainer was Drew Gulak. He was the one that taught me everything from top to bottom, how the business run and the respect in the business, and how the business don't owe you nothing. And so I learned a whole hell of a lot from Drew Gulak.
That's awesome. And here you are.
And now here I am, and doing bigger and better things, and trying to get my name out there even more. Yeah, last year was on a rise. It was going up, and then COVID happened. It was like, oh man,
Yeah.
sucks.
It's crazy, right? Like, it's funny because like I know you for a while, and I think actually was IWA was probably where I first saw you.
Yeah.
And then I ran into you like at GCW last year before COVID. I remember in Osbury Park. I remember I was like walking around, and I just
Yeah.
like saw you. I was like, okay, cool. So it's like I like know you all over the place, and I'm sure a lot of the fans appreciate when I do these interviews, because then they'll start seeing like the more like, oh, okay, like that's why we do these interviews, and this is great. So like, I mean, you've been around the place, you know, and hopefully 2021 will continue to see where you are.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But
I,
yeah, go
I
ahead.
just keep going and exploring new places. I think Matt Tremont and Brett Lauderdale and Frank for like giving me a chance and bringing me in as a part of their family.
Yeah, a lot of great promoters. I had Frank on Under the Ropes. I've had Matt Tremont on here. It's great. I mean, like, indie wrestling's like blowing up like crazy, especially like in the tri-state. I know like it's hard to say that like now, but especially now in New Jersey, at least like we're getting, I know New York has a lot of restrictions right now, but I even see like a lot of people that would normally see New York. There are a lot in New Jersey, Philadelphia, Connecticut. Like, I'm just seeing, you know, as long as everybody's being safe, I'm starting to see like a lot of people start moving around, especially in tri-state. But it's definitely changed and boomed within the last, I want to say 5 years, maybe. It started getting like more crazier.
It was already on the rise. I think COVID brought it out even more. It's like social media has been on stronger than ever. So it's like, that's the best thing. That's the new generation of TV.
Right. I love it. I love it. And then all the apps that we have access to now, which is so crazy. Like, there's so many apps. So
Yeah.
I'm like you. That it was like just WWF back then. That's all I watched. And then I think within the last like 6 years that I've been watching independent wrestling, it's just crazy just to watch where it goes.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, I'll be sitting there watching TV and I'm like, man, I used to wrestle that guy.
That's gotta be cool though.
I want to be like, I don't want to be like when I get to that age and I'm be really old and then they be like, man, this guy's so cool. And I'm like, yeah, I used to wrestle. And I'm like, no, you didn't. And I'll be like, I did, tear running down my eye.
It's a cool thing. Like, even still, like I support a lot of you guys, a lot of guys that come on the network as well, and it's kind of cool. Like, I'll do a little bit of research like before the fact, and like again, like I said earlier, like I've seen you live numerous times, but even to like go back into, you know, like look at older matches, you're like, oh crap, like you wrestled this person. So like even like with some of the stories. So with that being said, okay, so like the next question is like, for a fan who's not familiar with you, in your opinion, like, what's the best match that you would recommend them to watch of yours?
Oh man, I got like at least plenty of them. I wrestled my tag partner, Rocket. We had like 3 matches straight. You know, the crowd keep asking for one more match. It's like, oh man, we're giving them everything. It's like, even including the kitchen sink. I don't understand what's going on here. But, that one, there was a another match that was so good. Wrestling. It was me versus oh my god.
I put you on the spot.
Oh man, can't even remember. Uh, it was actually it was a match of the night that I heard, and the funniest part, it was a dark match,
Hmm.
and it was what's his name, Mike Dell.
Mike Dell, yes.
Yeah, it was me versus Mike Dell, and we was uh we was pre-show. We was the dark match, and we killed it. The fans went nuts and everything, and then all over Twitter, it was it just blew up between me and Mike Dell, and like even the wrestlers was like shown respect, and it was like shout out to Frankie Pickard and Mike Dell, killing it at freelance wrestling. And then my other favorite match will be the four-way at CZW between me versus Blackwater versus Jimmy Lloyd versus Dan O'Hare. And Sammy Callahan, he came to us and said, out of all um, matches that he's seen, he thought that four-way was the best four-way. So that felt really good for for Sammy, coming from Sammy Callahan that been on TV, that knows the ins and outs of everything, and that been in the business for a while. Same thing with Danny Havoc. God rest his soul, man. I miss him to the day. Danny Havoc will always tell me, because sometimes I'd be like, man, I'm about to give up. And he's like, no, you don't. You're not going to give up. He's like, just keep going. And he kept pushing. And I thank him for keeping me strong. And then the scramble match is basically, that's the last one. Scramble match.
Yes.
Is at GCW, a Game Changer Wrestling. It was me, Lucky, JJ, Steve, and
I love it. I see, like, I've had a bunch of these guys on the pot. Lucky 13 has been great. Twat Steve Scott, like.
Yeah, Steve Sanders, Peaky Shantaz. So we had a lot of we went to town, and that was by far, like, it's crazy because like a lot of matches you go through 1,000 matches, and then you really think, like, after that match you really was like, man, that was probably by far the best match that I ever had out of all scrambles or all four ways, or
Yeah. I love scramble matches. They're like one of my favorite things. So, it's funny you like bring that up. Like, so like you've had singles, you've had tag, you've had, scramble, you've been four ways, three ways, all sorts. Is there like a type of match that you haven't done yet, but it's still like on your bucket list that you want to compete in?
Ooh, so it is. I want to be in a cage match. I never did a cage match. That is on my list.
Yeah.
I want to do a cage match so bad, like ultra violent cage match.
Who did I just have on the podcast that just said that? They were like, I want to do a cage. Was it oh, I'm trying to think now. Who was it? I do so many interviews that it's like you right now. So I feel you, especially when you're like live and you're not like thinking about it, and it's like, okay, like it's gonna come to me like after like we go off the air. But I don't know. I'm down for all. Okay, it was Kid Osborne. Thank you, Ray. Yeah. So there you go. You and Kid Osborne. How about that cage match?
Oh man, I'll definitely love it. Kid Osborne is like one of my best friends. I love him and respect him to death. He's so good, so talented. Definitely so good as a heel.
Yeah.
He knows how to work the mic.
He does.
Kid Osborne is definitely like for somebody that's like so like they I don't know, it's like underrated. He's so good. He should be up there already. Like
Yeah.
it's just crazy.
I agree with you. I told him this, and it was funny because when I had asked him to come on the podcast and we talked this about him on the interview, and I was like, I don't think a lot of people give you enough credit, and I think he's really, one of the best, and I feel like more people should watch him and book him, and like I think he's really great in the ring, so definitely. So, but we need to make this happen. We're gonna clip this Kit right now, right? Cage match with you and Frankie. I don't know.
I'm bringing the spokes, Kit. I'm bringing the spokes.
I'm all for this right now. So who's gonna book this? Are we gonna have this at like H2O? Is this a GCW thing? Like where should we book this? What do you think?
Oh man, anywhere. It could be GCW. It could be H2O. It could be in somebody's mama's basement. It could be. It could be in UFC. It could be anywhere. It's like. I love working with Kit.
I want to like own like my own indies just so I could like book all my favorite people that like I love. I need to have this. Just like forget it. If I had like endless money, like I'd book all my favorites. Like somebody said, they're like, "Oh, you have a bunch of favorites." I'm like, I support a lot of people. I was like, so I love a lot of people. But okay, so let's move on. So what has been your most memorable moment in the ring?
In wrestling?
Yeah.
In general? Is it me wrestling or somebody else?
Well, for you, like whatever, like if you feel like it was like one of your most memorable moments, if it was somebody else, but I'm thinking like you, or if you want, we could do both.
Oh, my most memorable moments were it actually would be actually we just did it too. Me and Rocket. That was the most memorable. We have a mutual friend. His name's Anthony. And we know his mother, Dawn. And like Anthony, he's been like busting his ass all over helping out in H2L. So I was like, let's give him a shot and, see how it goes. And then I didn't think, I just, like put basically going to the casino and see if I can push my luck. So it was basically the point everybody saw the match between me and Mouse and a I guess like our ladder match.
Yes.
Love. And everybody thought that I was gonna kill him with a tear shot. And I remember Rocket, he kicked out of my finish. And I'm like, what? And he smacked me in the face and I'm like beating him down and I'm grabbed the chairs and I was about to do the same thing to my tag partner. I almost lost it. I blacked out. And then Anthony came, he slid in the ring and he was like, no, we're all friends and don't do this. And I'm like, no, move, go, leave, and he gave me a hug and the crowd was like, oh, and I'm sitting there, it's like, oh, I don't want to kill somebody in front of a crowd. And he, I gave him a hug and everything. And it was that moment right there that it touched everybody. And it was like, man, this kid almost, stepped in front, almost died, to protect our friendship.
Right.
But it was so good. I'm glad Twitter went nuts about it. And I'm glad that Anthony got looked at like he's that H2O kid.
I love it. I was cracking up with the whole mouse trap on top. Like I was just dying. I was like, I couldn't wait to like tweet at you and be like, that was like the most funniest thing. I was at my friend's house, so I just bust out laughing. I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. You're like, well, I had to catch a mouse. Like, And it's like,
It was
I know Mouse a long time. Like, I know Mouse from like SWA out here in Long Island. So it's
Right.
just like, it's so funny how like now even H2O is getting all this momentum as well. And guys, if you're not following H2O, I'm telling you, go follow it. I mean, I just had Dylan McKay on Under the Ropes not too long ago. That's the kid that's gonna blow up. Like, he's already blowing up. Like, again, the students, you know, Matt Tremont's been on here. He talked about H2O. I gotta get my butt down there.
the students is on fire right now, and it's not just one person. Like, they're all that's on fire, and there is like everybody. The whole world is knowing Matt Tremont students, and they're kicking off in a great road.
Yeah.
The shows that they take place in, and the stuff that they do, and you just sitting there, it's like, man, like, it makes you think, like, what is Matt Tremont teaching them?
Yeah.
Man? But you have three different styles of teachers, and you can't get no better than that. You have, you got Preacher. Preacher do Tuesdays. He trains the class Tuesdays. You have Michael Keener. He trains for Wednesday, and he's also a referee for ECW, and like his knowledge go way back. Right. And then you have Mike for Thursday, and then Friday you have Matt Tremont. So it's like you have so many different versions of styles, and then you can learn from. And I'm thinking, like, man, they're blowing my mind right now how good these kids is.
Yeah.
Out of all, and not just, I'm not going to shit on any other promotions or anything else, but in my book so far, like, Matt Tremont's school, the students are so respectful, and they're a family. They show the world how much of a unit that they are together.
I love it. I'm telling you guys, make sure they're on like IWTV. Go check them out. I'm telling you, it's really like up and coming. It's great. Like, I'm excited for it's the 20th, right? Is that the so February 20th.
Here to thy throne.
Yes. How exciting. So you got
the rise of superstars. You have the veterans that side by side and that help them out and train them and show them the ways.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool to see like that coming up. I'm excited to see that. We have some questions in the chat. Heather says, Frankie, what is the move with the knee to the face?
It's called the last breath. Because I smoke cigarettes a lot.
I like that.
The move to the face is like it's called the last breath.
Okay, I like it. Midum said in the chat, Tiffany, go after the championship. That's the chump is holding.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Give me a light tube. Can I hit you with a light tube? I gotta hit him with a light tube. There you go.
She probably might be coming up. She probably flying now just out of space in a spaceship with a light tube in her hand. So I'm going for the belt.
I think that's like a bucket list for me one day, is like I want to hit someone with a light tube because I'm so obsessed with them. Everybody knows, like, I'm just obsessed with light tubes, and I love it. Shout out to Go Pro Wrestling. Like, Darren finally was at H2O, and then he tweeted at me, and he was like, oh my god, he goes, I finally filmed my first death match, and he was like, light tubes are scary. I'm actually gonna talk to him tomorrow about this. I love it. So it's just crazy. It's just too funny. Fan tweet from Good Cop Bad Cop Wrestling Podcast. He goes, okay, so just so you know, this is an interesting question because he likes to do this to everybody that comes on this podcast. Right. With Pickard being an anagram of crap kid, what's the most crap you've taken from a kid at a wrestling event?
Oh man, from a crap kid. Uh, man, I think it was a show that I was in, and I was a heel. It was BWO, Body Slam Wrestling Organization, that was at the time was run by a preacher, and this kid literally wanted to come in the ring. I can take you, and it's like you're nothing. And I was like, I will beat you down. He was like, I'm gonna kick you in the balls and watch you cry. And I'm sitting there, was like, wow, this kid. And I'm looking at the father, and the father was like, that's my son. And he's just, man. And I'm like, we're me and the kid is going back and forth like a whole 15 minutes just arguing. I almost forgot about the match that I was in. I was just busy arguing with the kid. He was like, he was going all in there, and he was talking about like, he'll throw me over the ropes, he'll choke me out.
Wow.
And he was then he gave me like his background story. He was like, what did he say? I am a purple belt in karate. And I was like, okay, kid. It was like, okay. And I am a purple belt of just turning around and then wiping the dirt off my shoulders. And it was just like, oh, he's like, oh, come on. And it got to a point that the father had trying to hold the boy because the boy kept coming. It was like, oh.
That's gotta be fun though. Like I watch, it's one thing like with me. I mean, you've seen me at shows. Like I'm a hot mess. Like I'm all for it. I'm all in. But it's funny like watching like the kids getting all into it too. And I've been to so many shows, and like I love the kids going after like Darius Carter or TJ Crawford. Like I just crack up, and like I love how when the heels are playing into the kids, I just sit there. I mean, like I said, I get my share too with stuff, but yeah, I get a lot of shit, but I kind of do it on purpose. But everybody knows me by now. But I love it. I love Lucky 13 came on here. We talked about a story that a kid fell asleep next to me. And Lucky 13 started screaming. He got the camera over to videotape the kid. Like it was really, they were screaming at the kid. He was knocked out. Let me tell you, like they couldn't even wake him up. He was not. I don't know how you sleep during a wrestling show, but I swear those are like very entertaining to see the kids, and it's got to be fun. Like again, like on your side to do that, like with a kid.
Fun. Like actually, I think he was there at IWA when I turned on my old tag partner, Tahir James. And the kid was up there, was like, who to you? I was like, oh, go home and watch Channel 12. Watch Mr. Rogers. Oh, I'm sorry, he's dead. Oh, and I'm in my head, it's like, oh my God, why did I even say that? And that's like, sometimes when you go on hill mode, it just like you forget. You just forget about everything that's going on, and you just like, oh, I don't even know why I said that. In my head, it's like, I love Mr. Rogers. I don't know why. Rogers' reference and just say, oh, that's right, he's dead. And I'm like, oh my God. If I didn't make myself a heel then, I don't know what will. But,
how dare you?
Yes. Watch him coming in the room, changing his sweaters and putting on his penny loafers and trying to hide his war tattoos. And I'm sitting there, I'm talking about this guy.
Oh my God, where's Kyle? I need the shame bell on All Elite Podcast so I can shame you right now.
Yeah.
That's
give me the bell salute right now.
Yeah, seriously. I love it though. Okay. Let's go on to our next fan tweet. MGB Graham says, I seem to remember from reviewing some of your earlier matches at Nova Pro that you're also a boxer and a martial artist. Could you talk a little bit about those disciplines too, please?
Yeah. So growing up, I used to have a chip on my shoulder. I wasn't raised by my family. So my dad was abusive to my mom, and then I got sent away because he abused me as a little baby. And I went to a foster home, and then the foster home didn't even make anything better. It was just worse, like the bullying and everything else, and getting locked in the bathroom, whatever the case may be. But I had a huge chip on my shoulder because I really didn't really know my mother, and when my grandparents fought back and brought me back to them, my mom was already sick. She had multiple sclerosis. So she was already like in a like the third stages of MS, and so she couldn't talk and she didn't understand. She was bed rest. So it came to a point I used to go to school and I had a temper. I swear to God, somebody mentioned my mom, I blow up. Somebody mentioned anything, like I just had a temper. So my grandparents, he sent me to a friend of his because in the Navy type thing, and he's like Japanese, master in Renu, and he taught me martial arts. So I've been different places all over the place, on tournaments and everything else. So basically, he helped me control my emotions. So now I'm walking around like Steven Seagal, all calm and everything. So yeah, I have a martial arts background in Taekwondo, Aikido, Ninjutsu, Judo. I also did boxing. So I had so many stuff in my background, and that's funny that you said that because I remember somebody looked at my background and was up there. Was like, why don't you use that in wrestling? I was like, if I do that, I probably would kill somebody.
Oh God, no.
It's like it's so much different when you're in the ring and then you're in actual tournaments. In tournaments, you don't hold back. In the ring, you kind of hold back. So I learned a way to like compensate and got better at it. So yeah, the background, I wish it was like on a happy note of how I got, did martial arts, but it was always in the it's a sad note from that. But it also helped me better myself as years go on.
Wow. I'm so sorry, but like, like thank you for like sharing that with us, like, and just to see like you grow from it, like, and use it for like good and like, so thank you for like sharing that. So, wow. Yeah, and no killing people, please. Like, like don't be killing people in wrestling. Like,
Yeah. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna kill people.
you're just gonna hit them with mouse traps and light tubes and all that stuff.
Oh,
That's okay.
It was just funny. Funniest thing about that match was it was my design. Everything was my design. It was basically I wanted to do like a Tom and Jerry theme. Like I was like, you ever seen Looney Tunes?
Yes.
In Wile E. Coyote, was it Coyote? He always buy the stuff from the same store and always like fuck up his own self. To me, I'll probably think like if you keep buying to the same store and it just keeps messing you up, you need to go to another store. Funniest thing is like it's Acme. And I used to growing up, really thought that Acme was real because there's actually a shopping center called Acme.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I don't want to get nothing from there. It don't work well. It's just never right. So, no, it was just I love the I actually set up the whole everything, mouse traps and everything like mouse, and end up for me taking everything, and then the mouse trap was the biggest thing that everybody was never expecting. It was like, oh, this is pretty good.
Right.
And then like somebody on Twitter was like, yep, you're gonna see that on WWE in 3 months because they're copying everything off of off of indies.
Oh, they are. It's so funny, like the things you see. Very interesting. Yep, I see it. I see the characters, everything. That's a whole other story. But
without a doubt. Oh, on the belt. Oh, this is amazing. How come we didn't think?
Heather in the chat asks, Frankie, how many times have you been champion for H2O?
Actually, this will be my first
wow.
time. Has been hybrid champion. I was never H2O heavyweight or tag team. I am definitely looking for them goals right now. But right now is all this hard work and it paid off. This is the only thing that I have.
I like seeing all the championship belts like laid out. I know, like I've seen pictures of you posted like a whole bunch of belts on the bed.
Yeah, I was like 7. I was like 6 or 7 belt champion.
Yeah, dripping in gold.
Like,
I always say that.
What's going on here? It's like I'm a champion at this company, champion at this company, champion at this company. It was just,
it's pretty cool.
It was like, then the COVID happened and everything started to sliver.
Actually, you know what's funny? Now that I'm gonna bring this up, so probably the first time I saw you was actually BWF, not IWA. I think I kind of got swung over to IWA after BWF. So, Escape from New York. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So that was the first time I actually saw you. What was that? 2019, Escape from New York. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So like, I love Escape from New York. I love the concept. I talk about this a lot. And like I actually tell them when this happens, I need to be front row. I need to come back for this because I really enjoy the concept of this. So I forget how many teams were 8 teams of 4, right? That's what it was. 8 teams of 4. Then it comes down to whoever can last out the longest out of it. So with that being said, if you could be captain of your own team for BWF, Escape from New York, who are your other 3?
Who's my other 3? Astro
Morales. We've had him on the podcast as well.
Gangong.
Oh, number 1 husband. Happy birthday, number 1 husband.
Happy birthday. I mean, not number 1 husband, but happy birthday, number 1 friend and fan and brother and whatever, you know.
I love it.
Oh man, I love Anthony and going. Me and him was definitely good. I remember me and him had the first match together, and that was great. Let's see, Astro, Anthony, and the last one will be,
I feel like you should probably put Kit in there, right? Like, or Lucky 13 or something, or I don't know.
Oh no! I think everybody in the building was going to try to kill us. There's a limit. Kit can bring you beyond that limit. Actually, Lopez.
Okay.
Ness.
Okay, he's good too. Like, I love Ness. He's great. Okay, I love it. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll see you come back when BWF comes back around here in New York. Again, like I love, like I said, I just love the concept of this 8 teams, 4, and then elimination. So, Gangon was by himself that year. Everybody got eliminated. He came back. It was just him, and he was like going in, and yeah, great stuff. So, love it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we have another fan tweet from MGB Mason. He goes, were you aware that your rating on Cage Match is over 1 point higher than the WWE champion Drew McIntyre and over 2 points higher than Roman Reigns? If you had won the Royal Rumble, which of these 2 would you chosen to face at WrestleMania?
Oh, man. That guy's scaring me right now. I felt like I was in math class for a minute.
1 plus 1. 1 plus 1 equals 2. No, the train's leaving at this time, and train B's leaving at this time. So
I'm sitting there like I'm thinking about it like it's a test. It's like,
Only the best questions from these guys. I love you
Oh my
guys. Shout out
God,
to you
I
guys. You
love
guys
it.
are great. Like I can't.
I love it. Uh, now I feel like a student now. Excuse me, can you repeat that question again?
Okay. He's just pretty much asking you if you could face between Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, which one would you wrestle?
Drew McIntyre.
Drew. Oh man.
Uh,
So
uh,
he's actually in the
is-
chat. He says Frankie's ratings 9, Drew was 7 something, and Roman is 6.66. Of course he is, right? I love it. Okay. So let's only on the No Holds Barred Network, man. Only on the No Holds Barred Network. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
So do you have any pre-match rituals?
Hmm. Yeah. There's only one, but he's in retirement now. That sucks. Like whoever I want to face.
No,
Right.
like do you have anything like you do before you like like a pre-match ritual? Like if there's like something that you do like that gets you ready before you go out there?
Yeah. Actually pray.
Yeah?
Yeah, I pray for me and my opponent, and just hoping that we have a good match and knock it out the park.
Okay. I think Heather's giving you an open challenge in the chat. She said, Frankie, you're going to keep the championship or are you going to do an open challenge? Anybody you want?
I don't know, because last time I had an open challenge, I had to face my tag partner, and it was scared enough. I felt our truth, and I was like, man, is this a 24-hour belt? And he came out with me, and I didn't understand that was my opponent.
Damn, the salt, man. The salt. And MGB says, he goes, you should have asked Frankie to recite the quadric formula. Like,
Oh, man.
we like to have fun here. I love it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay, so clearly you love cosplay. All right, like let's talk a little bit about this, like, cause you post a bunch of pictures all over the place. I love it. Even your daughters, like, I love what you do. So, like, how did you get into this? Why? What's your favorite?
Well, I loved anime. Anime was this life. And I used to draw. I stopped drawing for years now, and it just so happens that my second oldest daughter inherited the drawing skills, and she loved anime, and apparently she likes cosplay, and it gave me an idea of like how to unite different worlds, because I'm looking at different groups and I'm sitting there, it's like, man, this everybody have their own different world. Like wrestling have their own world, and a lot of people follow wrestling, and I never knew Star Trek had a whole bunch of fan bases, and so on and so on. So I was like, all right, why don't we do this, and actually it'll bring the family together stronger. And I was like, let's do cosplay. So we started doing cosplay, and I was like, man, I really starting to feel good about it. I was posting pictures, and then people started liking, and then people that I didn't even know was following me, and I'm like, huh.
This is huge,
Yeah.
huge thing.
Huh?
It's a huge thing, right? Like,
So it was so I didn't think of nothing else about it, and then there was this guy that called me. It was Mike Goldberg, or Goldstein, or I think it's Michael Goldstein, and he does cosplay wrestling. He gave me a call, and he was like, I gotta do the hey, this is Frank Pickard, and it's like, yeah, this is Frank Pickard. I'd like to have you down to do cosplay wrestling. Are you down for it? And I was like, cosplay wrestling? He's like, yeah. I said, hell yeah, I want to do it. All right, cool. I'm going to put you down. So we're going to do it in this convention center. And I'm like, we're doing it in the convention center? I was like, oh, man. He's like, yeah, we do it all the time. Every convention center, we do the cosplay wrestling. And then he was like, I just wanted to know if you're down for it. I was like, yeah, I'm definitely down for it. So he called me up, back up, and he was like, hey, how would you like to play as Nick Fury? So I'm like, yeah, great, Nick Fury. I'm all for it. Oh, you gotta get yourself an eye patch and everything. So I'm all for it, getting the eye patch, the leather jacket, and being Nick Fury. So my first match was Nick Fury versus Star Fox, and it was a guy that was dressed as Star Fox. So we had a wrestling thing, and then it was so good with that. It was just basically comedy wise. And then I came back, and he was like, "No, I want you to really wrestle. You know, the comedy is good, but I want you to show everybody what you can do." And I'm sitting there, it's like, "Oh, you want me to go kill it? Okay." And so the next show that he got me up there, and he was like Nick Fury versus the Red Hood from Batman. And once we got out there and we got in the ring, and it was like thousands, like at least it was like 1,000 or 2,000 that was surrounding the ring, and they came to see the wrestling, cosplay wrestling, like people and characters doing wrestling stuff. And then like me and him actually went in and killed it, and the crowd just went nuts. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing.
Wow.
And I never felt that type of feeling. So it gave me an idea. It was like, you know what? I'm going to start bringing people that love cosplay into like the wrestling world. So I keep posting, and they'll follow me, and I love, like, you can see the transition to like the fans that's diehard cosplayers is transitioning to like wrestling. They're following me on Twitter. They've been following H2O, and it's just like it's kept growing and growing. My follower has been like going up and up. So, and TikTok has been like insane amount of craziness.
Wow.
So is just have fun, and that's basically just to have fun and let the people take you to where you need to be.
Where was this convention? I didn't even know that something like this existed. This is why we do these interviews. I didn't even know something like this existed.
So they usually do. One was at Atlanta City. They did one at Atlanta City. There was always a comic convention there,
Mm-hmm.
and they did it at Atlanta City. They did it at there's Anime Expo in New York.
Mm-hmm.
We went there to that convention center, and that they did there, and they're all over the place.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that they had like wrestling. So was it like a full on show, or was it only like a couple of matches that they did?
No, it was a full on show.
Wow.
We had the guy. His name is Topa. He was playing as Spider-Man. He was playing as Miles Morales, and then and me and him wrestled because I was playing as the Green Lantern.
Wow.
And, you had a guy, Twitch. His name is Twitch. He wrestles for Monster Factory.
Mm-hmm.
He was under the Red Hood, and and so on. You have a couple of like wrestlers from Monster Factory, from like all over the different areas of companies. You see different wrestlers that's playing and portraying Marvel superheroes, anime characters, video games. Brittany Blake she did a couple of them too. She played as Android 18 from Dragon Ball Z. She played so on and so on. And I never thought that, it was something out there that was like that.
Right.
Just two worlds to combine as one. And man, it was amazing.
That's what I love about independent wrestling is there's so much different things. Like you were just saying, like now like WWE will take things from like the indies or whatever. And that's why I always tell people like keep an open mind. And I think that the indies has given me such an open mind with wrestling that my mind is very different than where it was years ago when I was just like a WWE fan. And then just like going into like the indies, and that's why I like these, why we do these podcasts is like, if you guys are not fans, like you need to get on the train because there's a little bit of everything. So it's like there you have your family friendly, you have your death matches. I didn't even know that this existed, which you're telling us right now, which is so great. And it's like now it needs to like be on my bucket list of things that I wouldn't mind going to experience myself, just as a wrestling fan to see
Don't worry,
what's
I'll
out there.
send you the-
Yes, please, definitely, because I think this is so cool. Like, even for people that love, and there's a lot of people that are into this. So, I'm not huge into, but it's just like how I just think this is so cool, like the concept of it, that I just want to at least experience it once. At least. So I always tell everybody, try everything once, right? Like with independent wrestling, just try it once. A lot of tickets to a lot of places, they're cheap. Like you could have a good time. You could spend like $10, $5, or you could spend up to $50 or more depending on what you like in wrestling.
Right.
So, but see, again, like you just taught me something today on the podcast that I was like, oh, how cool is that? So, how cool. Very, very interested in this. So I want to look this up. So if you have one of your matches, like please share it with me like after the pod, and then like I'll even share it on the No Holds Barred network as well. We can post it up so people can see it, 'cause I'm sure people would love to see that. Cool. I love it. Okay. So let's move on from this. So who has been your favorite to work with, and who is still like in the dream match of like that you want to, have?
A person that I really love to work with, definitely is really cool to work with, is I will say Lucky.
I love Lucky.
Lucky is definitely a person I always love to work with. Just from this is probably with the second match that me and him ever had. First match was a scramble match, and then the second match it was me and him. No, we had a couple of more matches, but by far, like I love to work with Lucky. His ability and agility is like nuts. And then my dream match, which that would never happen now, was me and my idol, the person that drug me into like, hey, I want to become a wrestler. It was The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
So probably my dream match will be Leo Rush.
Oh, okay. I feel like this could happen. I'm all here for it. Him and Blake's been having some great matches over at GCW. If you guys haven't been watching that, it's been really, really good. Oh my goodness. Maybe at GCW. I mean, weren't you just playing rock, scissors, paper with Alley Cat at GCW at the Fight Forever?
Oh yeah. It was definitely the best thing. Like, whole system went down for a minute. They're trying to fix everything else, and like they killed time just from playing rock paper scissors.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, right?
Yeah.
That had to be an experience for you too, working, being there at Fight Forever, and the 24 hours of that, which is such a great thing that they did.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was exhausted as hell.
I'm sure.
It's like I was like, hey Brett, when's my match? Oh, you don't start to 5:45
Oh, geez.
a.m. And I'm like, when he said 5 he say like around 5. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, I see
You're
you.
like, "Be out."
He was like, no, I'll see you in the morning. I was like, 5 a.m. And he was like, yeah. Like, oh man, you don't know. The day before, I slept all day.
Oh wow.
I was like, I'm gonna get my sleep in and get ready for the
Right.
night.
I give you guys so much prop for all that. Like, it's, again, it was such a great thing, but to like experience that and all the workers on there, like, kudos to you guys. You guys are great. Like, I love it. So, we talked about a bunch of companies you work for: CZW, GCW, IWA, H2O, a bunch of other promotions. But is there somewhere, like, maybe in 2021 that your goal is to work, or maybe come out of Tri-State, or?
My goal right now is Japan. I want to do I want to do Japan. I want to do AEW. But my main focus is either between AEW and Japan. I like the stuff that's going on with AEW right now, and they're like, at least like, not the shit on like any other like WWE or none, because I love WWE. If it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't be doing this now.
Right.
But like AEW is like they're opening up more differently than like how WWE is. Like, I feel as though that WWE is holding a couple of people back.
Right.
And they're so good. And it's like, just let them go. And that's the only way that you think that, if you're looking at profit wise, they want to do their job. Just let them go. And do what they want. I mean, look at Stone Cold Steve Austin. He did exactly what he wanted to do. And then, like, look at him now. And then the attitude area is gone. There's, what else can you do for the A? And my hat goes off to Triple H, because NXT is basically the next best thing.
Right.
It's by far probably way better than SmackDown or Raw right now. And it blows my mind how NXT evolved so fast and so quick.
Right.
But AEW is the one of the goals. I definitely want to do Dark and everything. Half the people that I know is in there that I wrestled with, and they're really cool people. Shout out to Layla, man. She's doing the thing, and I saw her when she first started. And I was like, man, look at her. Same thing with Penelope Ford. I was like, just so happens, like, Penelope Ford came in and it was like, she didn't even know who Shawn Michaels was for a minute. And then, from that, and just coming out there and doing bigger and better things, man, my hat goes off to them, and they work their ass off to be where they need to be at. Especially Joey Janela, man. I love that dude to death. So much potential in AEW, and get to wrestle like people that you grew up in watching,
right?
Or like people that you've seen that's in Japan. That is like heaven up there in AEW, and that's the only reason why I would want to. My dream is to go to AEW or Japan.
Right.
That's it.
Definitely. I love it. And especially as like a fan, to watch indies like make it over there. It's like so rewarding, especially to me. And I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way like I do. So even like for you, like you said, you've worked with a bunch of people and you've watched them even like when they started, and to have these opportunities, it's like it's a great feeling. It's very, very rewarding. So I hope you get this goal for this year for you. That'd be great. I would love to see you on the screen, coming out with a cigarette.
I don't think they're going to let me come out with a cigarette.
I know.
Hell, shit. Joey Janela did it when he first started in AEW. He was smoking a cigarette in the fucking Battle Royale. Why not? Why can't I do it?
I love it because you would do it at IWA when I had like the podcast table. You came over by me when you're with the cigarette. I'm like, okay, I love this.
So the funny thing how that started was I was at a show at it was at a standalone wrestling show on Chad Menace.
Yes.
Um he had a show out there at Brick City, New Jersey, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know that they switched the matches around, so I was like, oh, let me go outside, smoke me a cigarette. And then I heard my music playing. I was like, shit. Oh, when did they switch the match? So I'm going back in there, and I totally forgot that I had the cigarette in my mouth. Crowd was like going crazy because I had the cigarette in my mouth, and I'm like wrestling with the cigarette in my mouth, and like it just started with a trend.
It just
and
stuck.
It was posted. A friend of mine's Blackwater. He the one that did that. He was like, "Hey, why don't you come out with a cigarette?" And I thought it was like, "Nah, I ain't gonna throw out a cigarette. What would it accomplish? What would I do out of it?" But then it's like, damn, I should have listened to her like years ago.
Yeah.
But then when I started doing it, it's just like it was crazy. And then I did Hustlemania and came out with a horse and a real actual horse, which it was funny.
How cool. That's so cool. I love it. I love it. Oh my goodness. Yes, I miss IWA. I can't wait to like get back there or whatever. And it was funny because shout out to Rob from Pop Culture Podcast because he was talking about that you were his first interview on his. I love Rob. It was funny because I was saying to him, I was like, you know what's funny? I was like, Frankie was the first person that I got in the ring with and did an interview with. So yeah, that was the first time I ever got into the ring, which was like very low and like hard to get in the ring. And I was like, wow, like you don't really know until you actually get into the ring. So that was kind of like cool. And it was like, damn, you guys wrestle on this is weird.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I felt as a fan who knew nothing, and to have the opportunity to work at IWA and like promote like the podcast and all that stuff, and like to get in the ring and do an interview with you. So it was funny because I was like reminiscing when we were talking about that.
Right.
So it's funny, guys. Go back. There's an episode of Indie Talks at IWA. I want to say February of 2020. I think it was in there. That's when was that show, the IWA show? God, it's like so long ago.
I know.
Right? Like time just like flew by, and it's like I like look back and I'm like, God, like I have so many gifs and videos of all you guys. Like you guys always see me. I think that's why everybody loves me, because I get like the best footage sometimes, and I'll post things before anybody else posts things, and they're like, how the hell? They're like, oh, Tiffany's here. Like, I love it. Okay, so what's been the craziest thing a fan's done to get your attention? This is my infamous question on the network. Infamous. I love the stories. I know you got one. Like,
oh man. So it was at the Samoans, WXWC4, and I was out there and I was wrestling, and then we was me and it was we had like a street fight type of thing, and I was out there was wrestling and we was going at it, and I was right next to this old lady. So this lady she at least had to be like 70 in her 70s and stuff, and like I hit the guy with forearm, and I'm like looking, and the crowd start cheering me on. It's like, yeah. So this lady started she smacked me in my ass.
oh my goodness.
I turned around, was like with a shocked look, and I was like, and she's like winking at me and everything, and I was like, and I'm like picking the guy up, like, yo, move me to the other side, like push me to the other side, do something.
Oh my goodness.
It was weird. It was like this lady. She was definitely like in her 70s, and she like smacked me in my ass, and I'm turning around and I'm like, what the heck is going on here? She's winking, and she had like she was giving me these bedroom eyes, and I'm sitting there, it's like, oh my god, this is I don't even know what to do with this. What's going on? I was so worried, I'm at least turn around and hoping there was a young lady there, and then be like, oh, okay, hi. I was like, cool. All right, thumbs up. All right. And you just turn around and you just see somebody's grandmom, and I'm sitting there like, oh my god, where am I going? It's like she's like, and she's so strong with it too. She winking and I'm like, what? And then like we had intermission and I guess it was her son, and her son came over and it was like, my mom really likes you, and I'm sitting there, it's like, oh, who's your mom? And he's pointing to the granny, and I'm sitting there, it's like, oh, and she found me on Facebook too.
Oh no!
Then it was another lady. I love her to death, man. She's awesome. She comes to H2O shows, and she bring her other friends, and there was I don't know, she's 70 or 80 or something like that, but her friends like this. So at the time I was being a hill, and I'm like, oh my god, give it up for the Golden Girls, they came here.
Oh my god.
Every time we come back, it's just like, yo, like people like security come back, it's like, yo, these ladies here, man, they wanted to come and see you, they wanted to know if you was here. And it was like, man, what's going on? I was like, for some reason I'm attracting old ladies. It's like, man, I'm looking in the mirror. It's like, am I getting old? I'm at that point? And it's like, I don't know. It's like, it was scary.
Oh my goodness, that's great.
It was definitely. And it was one part that it was I had a match with it was me versus Nicholas Gran, and he went out there and he was trying to kiss the same lady, and I was like, no, that's not how you kiss, and this is how you kiss, and I kissed the old lady, and she wouldn't even let me go. It was like, it was supposed to be a and I was like, that didn't happen. And the crowd was like, yes, it did. Yes, it did. And I'm like, no. And I'm turning back around, and the lady's like smiling like this. And I'm like, oh, God. I don't know what I did. I was like, what have I done?
You're the old lady whisperer. Like, that's your new nickname. You're going to have Shane Fair, like, okay, the old lady whisperer.
Yeah, just go out there and see old ladies and start whispering in their ear.
Just so you know, that's probably going to be me in like 40 years. I'm going to be there front row, and Gangon will still be #1 husband on my list. And
yeah, you go get him, honey. Gangon gonna look at you like, oh.
She's still around. She's still around here. like, aren't you tired of me? Didn't somebody surpass me? I can't. That's great.
Oh yeah, by the way, shout out to Anthony Gangon, man. I heard the engagement.
Yes, congratulations.
And oh my god, and who he's marrying to, man. No. That's a
I love them. Great people. So, and I got so much shit today. They were like, because I wished him a happy birthday, and they're like, he's engaged, right? I'm like, God, relax. Like, it's a list. Like, pretty much. Like,
you probably know everybody's up there just turning around looking at you. They can't wait to touch their phones and be up there. Oh my God.
I know. God, relax, guys. It's not that serious. Like, pretty much everybody, even the people that come on the podcast, they're usually like in a relationship, and like, I know this. Like, like, relax. It's a list. It's fun. Like,
oh man, this is like high school and stuff.
Like, it's just a fun list. Relax, guys. Oh yeah. It's not that serious. So, all right. So we're gonna wrap this up with one final question. Okay.
Yes.
So to all inspiring or amateur wrestlers out there, what's a piece of advice that you would give them?
Keep following your dreams. Keep going on. Keep going on strong, but don't have doubts in your head. If you have doubts, then you want to stay in that same circle. Branch out. Think outside the box. This is what this world is right now. Is for people to think outside the box. If you think outside the box, you'll get far. You'll go places. Any dream, it don't even have to be wrestling. Any dreams that you want to do, just go ahead and fulfill it. You see a lot of people that you see on TV and you're like, man, I'm a biggest fan of this person, that person. You see how they made it and they made their dreams. So it's not going to downgrade you. Just it makes you stronger. Right now, like me, what gives me my strength is my kids. My kids give me strength. Even if I get to a point that I'm like, I don't feel like doing this, my kids is the one that keeps pushing me and gives me the strength to keep following my dreams and go beyond my limits that I didn't even know I had. And even if you don't have kids and stuff, like my goal is definitely like every time I wrestle and I see a kid that's in there, instead of being out in the street selling or being locked up, I'm doing a pretty good job. Because I want the kids to know that if I can do it, in doing my dreams, anybody can. You don't have to use that as a last resort of going out there selling drugs or bullying people to make yourself known or just doing anything that you should not be doing, period. Just you only live once. And just live your life to the fullest. And if that's what you want to do and achieve your goals, I'd just say, just keep going, because that's what I would do.
I love it. I love it. Great role model. That's why it's like important. And I love it. And I love to see, like I said, like the kids, I witness it, even like my goddaughter at shows, and just to see like what you guys do. So thank you for like everything that you do. And, you know, for everybody out there, like totally appreciate you. And thank you for sharing like your story with us too. So love it. Tell everybody where they can find you if they want to give you a follow and all that fun stuff.
Well, good, because I brought the book, right?
Oh God.
Let me see.
Oh my goodness. Are you like going to give us like a Bumble or like an OK Cupid like thing? Damn. Like what is
Oh, it's going. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok at Frankie Pickard, YouTube the same, and Instagram Frankie Pickard Pro, or you can just go to IWTV. You can check us out on Hair to Thy Throne at IWTV. If you don't have it, I advise you to download it. We have a promo code called Hustle. So it's 5 days free trial. So just download IWTV, check us out February the 20th, and watch, the students and the vets join forces and show people, they can go and who might be the champion that can go on to Hustlemania. So
that's gonna be a really good show, guys. Definitely like check that out. So like, let's see, I think Brendan Kirk's on it. I think Jeff Cannonball's on it, right? Like some of the vets. I'm trying to remember, like
Low Life Louie.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so a couple of guys, Jeff Cannonball I've had on, Brendan Kirk I've had on the podcast, you guys are familiar with. Definitely, like, again, if you're not watching H2O, definitely go check it out.
Did he give you the soda?
We talked about it. He didn't drink any on the air. That's okay. It's okay. So I love his reviews. We talked a little bit about that. So I can't, like, some of his faces are just the best where like he doesn't like them. They're great. I think there was like a pickle one that I was like sounded good, but his face.
Yeah, it was like,
Great
I love
stuff.
it. After you take it, he's like, it sucks.
Yeah, I like when it's like you can't tell that he doesn't like it, but then he has to like think about it for a second and like think about like how bad it is, like what he's gonna say. It's like that 1 second you just see it in his face. But I love that we're getting those on the shows too, and I love even seeing that at H2O. Like, so great. I love that there's like a graphic for it too now. Like, great stuff.
Out there for him now. I was like, yes.
Yes. So, oh my goodness. But guys, thank you so much for watching the episode of Under the Ropes. It was fun. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Thank you guys on the audio as well that are watching. Please, yeah, I like lost my train of thought right now.
Yeah.
See, that's what happens. But so thank you guys again for watching. Make sure you follow Frankie, give him some love. Go slide in those DMs.
Oh, yeah. Go find the DMs.
He's the what's it called? The old woman whisperer now. I'm gonna actually like message Shane Fair.
Oh.
He's gonna announce you as that now going forward at like IWA. I'm all
If
for
you
this.
do, I'm definitely.
I'm so for this.
I'm going to start laughing. I'm like, oh, they got me.
Oh man. Thank you guys for watching the Holds Bar Network. I'm your host as always, the EVP of Giggles, the Heartbreak Chick, the Queen of the Indies. Thank you again, Frankie Pickard, and we will talk to you soon.